So this is the peanut or the auricle. That would be the external auditory canal. From there, we're going to tag that structure, which is the
tympanic membrane.
Tympanic membrane or tympanum. And then we're going to talk about the bones that are associated with the ear. And there are 3 specific ossicles, if you will, you need to know. We're going to point to that one first.
Malleus.
And malleus, good. And this one is the
Incus.
Good, the incus. And this one is broken, but it's kind of a stirrup shape. That is the stapes. Good. Next we have this entire structure is representing what structure?
Bony line.
The bony labyrinth. This is the bony labyrinth. We're going to go through the 3 parts of the bony labyrinth. These are referred to as the
semicircular canals.
Good, semicircular canals. This middle area is referred to as the vestibule, and that part is the
Cochlea.
Good. Coming off there, you can see these yellow fibers. That is the auditory nerve or vestibular cochlear nerve, you can call that. Now there's one more tube on here that we have to explain, and it's that tube right there, and that tube is the eustachian tube. Okay, that is your eustachian tube. I can already tell Ina learned another name for that.
Auditory.
So you can call it auditory tube or pharyngotympanic tube, whatever word that you want to use.
That's more familiar.
Yeah, whatever word you want to use. So that's what we can see on this part of the ear model. Now to get the rest of the structures done, we're going to use this model. And again, this is just a large magnified view of the bony labyrinth. And Stefan said earlier that these are the
Semicircular canals.
good, and this area is the
Vestibule.
good, and this structure is the cochlea. Good. Now, on the inside of the semicircular canals, or on the inside of the bony labyrinth in general, you have these 4 structures. 1, 2, 3, 4. All of those structures in blue are a part of what general structure?
Semicircular duct.
This is a semicircular duct. This swollen area is the ampulla. This swollen structure is the utricle, and this swollen structure is the good. So, semicircular duct, ampulla, utricle, and saccule. You need to know that all 4 of those structures belong to the membranous labyrinth. Okay? And you need to know that all 4 of those structures are filled with what type of fluid? Endolymph. Endo means inside. So all 4 of them are filled with endolymph.
So we have to know type of fluid
Yes,
also.
definitely. And then surrounding the membranous labyrinth in purple, it's represented here. If I say this purple is representing what type of fluid, the outside is going to be the perilymph. So endo means inside, peri means outside. Endolymph inside. So a good question, name this structure and the type of fluid that's found within it. So ampulla and the endolymph. Or I could say, name the specific structure and the general structure that it's a part of. So this would be, ampulla and membranous labyrinth. Okay, so look how the card is worded as how you answer the question. Now on the cochlea, you can see that there are 3 chambers pretty much throughout the entire cochlea. It would be very hard for me to ask these chambers on here because it's tiny. So I have a magnified view of that on here. So I'm going to put this cochlea away just for a second. And I'm going to grab this, which is just a big magnified view of the cochlea. You always want to start by finding this structure first. This is going to be your hint or clue, and it runs at a diagonal angle. This structure is the vestibular membrane, which means that chamber is the vestibular duct, and it means the opposite chamber would be the tympanic duct. You need to know that both of those chambers contain which type of fluid? Perilymph. There is a 3rd chamber seen on here, and this chamber is called the cochlear duct. And what type of fluid does the cochlear duct have in it? Endolymph. Very good. Now there's a couple more features we have to go through. One is this little diving board, and I know one of the teachers said it looks like a tongue a little bit, but that structure is the tectorial membrane. And it sits on top of this kind of elongated structure that has these little hair cells on it. That entire structure is the organ of Corti. And below the organ of Corti, you see this thin blue membrane right here. And that thin blue membrane is the basilar membrane. Base means bottom. So the bottom membrane, number 6 on here, that basilar membrane is at the bottom. Finally, you have this structure, and these are supposed to be little neurons. So what do you think this is a cross-section of or a part of? Part of your auditory nerve. Again, it's easier seen on here, but if they were to tag this, those are little branches of the auditory nerve. I don't even think that will be on your test, but I wanted to throw that out there just in case.